Hi and welcome to your Exam Coach tutorial video. This video is going to break down the different components of Exam Coach, show you how to use them, and how to best utilize your time to study so that you can take and pass the NBLEX exam. When you log in, you can do this from either your PC or your mobile device. I would suggest actually logging in while you're watching this video and then pausing the video as you go through step by step. The first thing you want to do is obviously go to www.abmp.com. And when it opens up, you'll see at the top right, there's a little box that says login. Click on that box. Your username will be the email that you provided your campus with or ABMP with. And then your password will start out as your last name with the first letter capitalized. You can change your password at any time. When first logging in, you'll notice that there's a lot of content to the ABMP website. Make sure that you find the Exam Coach link and move into that section. There's also, inside Exam Coach, a great student life area that can give you all kinds of different ideas and ways to study, take notes, and even videos to watch to prepare to take the exam. Once inside of Exam Coach, you'll see that there's a couple different options. The first thing we're going to look at is the study subjects. So go ahead and click on that and open up the different subjects that you can choose from to study. Inside of the study subjects, you'll see that there are 10 major subjects to choose from. But if you click on each one, inside of those are multiple subtopics. In all, there are 74 different topic areas that can cover up to 4,500 different test questions. Once inside a study subject, you're going to notice there are 3 main categories you can choose from: terminology, study flashcards, or take a practice quiz. We're going to start at the beginning with terminology. Once inside the terminology category, you're going to see a list of terms that relate to that topic. I suggest going through and actually becoming familiar with each term that's listed. If you click on the term, you will actually highlight it to a red color. You can also click and hear the pronunciation of the term if you're not sure how to say it, as well as you'll see the definition. So take a moment, go through the terms, and decide which ones you're not comfortable with. And from there, I would write them down with their definition, or I would make a flashcard. Flashcards are a great way to study when you don't have your device with you or to have someone else quiz you. Here's just an example of adduction. If I was unsure of this term, I would click on it and you can see that the definition pops up: movement toward the midline. So make a flashcard, put it to the side, and then once you're done making all your flashcards for this particular subject, go ahead and work with those and study those for a bit. Maybe take a day or two and quiz yourself or have others quiz you. After you've become familiar with the terminology, then you can move on to the flashcards. The flashcard section just builds on the terminology. So now that you're familiar with all the terms in the subject, now you can start answering questions about the terms. Some of them are very basic, like the one seen here. Define the term digestive system. So if you know it, you can easily say what the digestive system is. If you're unsure, when you click on it, the card will flip and you'll see the opposite side. So now you have the answer: the system of the body that ingests, processes, absorbs food, and eliminates waste products. If this was a question that I was really struggling with, I would either write this question down, I would screenshot it, or take a picture of it with my device. Once the question is familiar and you don't need it anymore, click on the green check mark at the top right, and it will actually remove the question from the rotation. You can go back and unclick and bring all those questions back once you're done. After you've become familiar with the terminology, you've had a chance to review the flashcards, now it's time to take a quiz. Each quiz in each subject category consists of 10 questions each. The great thing about the quizzes is it gives you instant gratification of whether or not you answered it correctly. So take time when you're looking at these questions. Write down any unfamiliar terms, any words that you've never seen or heard before, so you can go back and define them. Here's an example of what it looks like when you answer correctly. At the bottom, you'll see a pop-up, or you might see this pop-up telling you to try again. At the end of the 10-question quiz, you'll get this screen telling you that you've completed, also giving you an option to take another quiz or go back to a different topic. At the top, you'll see your score. Anything above a 70% is passing. You'll also see an option to email this score. If you're working with someone from the campus, it's a good idea to email them and let them know how you did. Let's go back for a moment and look at how to break down a question. Really simply, the first thing that I like to do is actually say the question out loud and break it down into its different parts. You can see the question here is, the containment chamber of the brain is the, and it gives you 4 different options. After reviewing the question, we want to start to identify any key terms. So looking at the question, I see that containment chamber could be a concept or some terms that maybe I'm not familiar with, but I want to think about what containment means and what a chamber means. And then out of those terms, I want to identify which are anatomical. So now I have the brain. If I wasn't familiar with what the brain was or its structure, I could easily look in the terminology section or check in my anatomy and physiology manual. So now let's look at the possible answers. A, foramen magnum. Well, if I don't know that, I might need to write it down because it's unrecognizable. B, frontal sinus. Again, if I'm not sure, we need to write it down. Go back in the terminology section and define it. C, cranial cavity. That's a good possibility. So again, let's look for answers that maybe are similar. And D, vertebral cavity. I don't know that that's an actual thing, so I need to go back and look at these answers one more time. And remember, I'm going to choose the most correct answer. And you did it, cranial cavity. Well done. And just in case, I'm going to jump back over to the terminology section and just check my answer. Cranial cavity, there it is. Just to recap, you want to start with the terminology. Become familiar. Remember, it's like learning another language. Then move on to your flashcards. Once you've gone through the cycle a few times, you should start to feel ready to take a quiz. And when you take a quiz, make sure that you're jotting down or noting how you're doing on your quizzes. It's advisable to pass 4 quizzes with a 70% or better in a row. And if you can't do that, then go back to the terminology and start over again. By utilizing Exam Coach in this way, it has been shown that it's produced the best results. Students have taken and passed the NBLEX the first time. Remember, you got this.